We're into game number 3, and it's going to be what? Oh, Gold Rush. Hello. Well, that's an interesting choice, and definitely something planned by ByTs, as they are trying to surprise their opponents. And well, this should result in a sling right off the bat, I'm going to call it, because obviously that's the strategy for this map. And let's see if they can play this correctly. Tatoch will most probably be the one slunk. You can usually see the Mayans being slung because of their power to spam so many units in the early Imperial Age, like Eagle Warriors and whatnot. So that's probably going to be the strategy for him. And looking at the civilizations, we have Mongol, Mayan, Persian for ByTs, whereas LoS are having Spanish, Mayan, and Goth. Goths are also pretty great on this map. And LoS might actually be drawing from experience. I think some seasons ago we have actually set Gold Rush as a home map, and well, I'm not exactly sure if LoS played it or not, doesn't really matter, but they might be remembering, and I think that the first time that this match was played, or rather this map was played in playoffs, some 4 or 5 seasons ago or whatever, it was Goths who were deciding the game for one of the teams. So let's have a look around here. If we go for on, for example, okay, so let's have a look at the host, Setito, who has already quite nicely scouted around his base, discovering both of those picks together with the gold, of course, having double gold mines, one of those very close to his own base, which means that he might be even tempted not to go for mining camp, and well, that could be some kind of idea to save resources, but not really sure if that's really going to be worth it. So let's have a look at the other player from them. Tato is going to be on the left. And he's also very nicely scouted already. Extra even hunt on the very bottom, and he's having the boars where? He's actually having double hunt in here. He's having hunt in here on the left together with double boars and also the berries, and also having yet another hunt at the bottom. So it seems like a pretty good spawn for him, and he will be happy about what is happening in here. So is there going to be some boars stolen or whatever? So far, looking at the minimap, I can't really detect anything like that. So probably everybody will be stuck with the boars that they have started with. I don't really see any kind of problem for either of them. Red is right now going for a boar, but I kind of thinking this was his ideal. Yeah, this was his starting one, as the second one is in here, and my memory serves me well. That was the correct one. And well, you can already see that Monaimon is right now butchering the first one and already working on building a wall for himself. He will be in a pretty tough position as he will be facing Miguelzin. Oh yeah, that's not going to be all that easy for him, as so far Miguelzin has been the best player of them all. Skeleton is not any kind of lost elite, it's just a source of this map. And is this actually his gold? Oh, actually his gold. Yeah, this is his gold, so that's kind of sucky. But since he has the large gold mine pretty much okay inside his base, he shouldn't be all that much worried about it, as really this map is all about the rush into the middle. It's called Gold Rush, and securing as many gold mines in the middle as you can. So shouldn't really be mattering all that much. Extra stone in here, but he has the first one in his base very nicely, without all that much of a problem. Shut off it again. With boar being lured in, that's boar number 2. There, yes. Let's have a look through a pocket here. That's going to be Miguelzin, and it's actually not a pocket, of course, he's a flank. And he has gone for a dog in here. Oh well, that's actually not all that usual. But since he has seen that he is having, how many? 5 fishing spots, that's actually worth it. Usually on Black Forest you are thinking about dogs, and it's kind of a bit of a rule of thumb when you have like 4 fishing spots that it's worth it to drop a dog, and since he's having 5, he's definitely trying to make use of that. Since it's not really any kind of advantageous position, it's not going to be used in the later age for, I don't know, for example, elite cannon galleons or whatnot. You can see that Gach could be doing the same thing. It's also having 5 fishing spots in here, so that could be worth it, but he's also working on walling himself in quite heavily. And same could be said about Setito, but I'm kinda questioning the reason in here, because he's walling from his teammate. Is he expecting some betrayal? That's kinda, this wall is kinda wasted, I kinda think. Yeah, maybe he's just now realizing it, as he's not even finished with this wall, and this is actually quite a lot of wood in here. That's a lot of wood wasted that could have gone into some other part of the wall, like here, and he might be missing it in the game, but probably not all that much that he should be deciding anything at all. Otherwise, not much walling on going on, just the blue already finished. but we don't really see any wall in on the bottom. Just Safaro using houses yet again, as that's very clever use of resources. But is he there on the left? Let's switch into his point of view. I might be thinking that he is not. Oh yeah, he isn't. He isn't, but right now will be. Hopefully for him. Let's wait for the scout to actually move there. Because if he doesn't, yeah, I have seen plenty of players actually make this mistake, thinking that this tree line is going to extend right next to the wall, and yeah, not even checking there, even if they could. Atsafaro is not going to make this kind of mistake, and well, this is exactly the reason why he's one of the best players in the world. So yeah, pretty good job. Also having an interesting hand at the back, as he's not even building a mill in here. Not really worth it, the investment for him. This is quite nice to see, as probably most of the players would be building a mill at pretty fast, or rather pretty far away hand, as obviously it would be helping you with faster gathering, but he doesn't want to waste the resources, and we are advancing into feudal ages, as Monaimon will be the first. Looking how he's a Persian, and then Setito and Safaro with Tatoch will be following. So we are advancing at interesting number of villages. Tatoch is advancing at 26, Gach at 26 right now, but not advancing yet, with Monaimon being at 22. Yeah, okay, so that basically explains the fastest advance into the fuel, of course, and he will be quite probably slinging to otherwise into whom? Into the Mayan, I would think, really, into Tatoch, and let's see if that's going to be strong enough for him. And they're already talking about walling, that they should be walling themselves in. Riot is definitely thinking about it quite heavily, and he seems to be basically preparing as a Spanish. Is he going to be slinging? I would be thinking so, that they will be slinging into the Goths, and that would be something that I would do, either the Goths or the Mayans, but much more probably into the Goths, and let's see if that's going to be strong enough in here. Bit of a skirmish between Scout and the Eagle Warrior, but of course that's not going to be anything that should be decided in the game, or anything important at all. And Red is nicely finishing with the wall in, right now going to be dropping wall about here, yeah. Oh, fortunately he doesn't realize that it's actually absolutely useless. But he's kind of thinking that Tatoch won't be walling himself in, which seems to be the case. And that could be a bit of a problem if somebody somehow got through this and sneaked through all this beach line into his own base. So yeah, better be safe than sorry. And is he having loom? Yeah, he is having loom, so this wolf is not going to be stopping anything in there. Okay, market dropped by Monaimon as a Persian, so yeah, he's going to be slinging in here quite assuredly. Whereas in there, we have 5 fishing boats for the green player, and already finishing with the walling also quite nicely, at least on the left. Whereas on the right, he's also very nicely finished. It's not really noticeable on the minimap, but it will be more than enough to go. So, Miguel's also advancing into going for market, and also blacksmith. That's interesting to see, whereas we have seen a bit of an attempt at potential raiding by Setito on Tato on Riot, but it's not going to be finished, but Riot is the one who will potentially be having a bit of a luck with disrupting the food gathering of his opponent. And we see that Tato is advancing into castle as the first, and we see Setito going for coinage and a wheelbarrow, which is telling you that he will be slinging full time. So it's going to be Mongol slinging into his ally. And pass a stone wall, yeah, stone wall for Gach, it seems that something like that will be happening. And Miguelzin is also advancing into castle right about now, so he won't be slinging, and yeah, he will be the one slung. So let's just confirm this. So right now we should be already having some kind of records in here. Setito into Tatoch, of course. Monaimon as well. Whereas Safaro is slinging into Miguelzin, and Gach will probably join soon after. So yeah, this is going to be exactly the play in here. Do we see some players already moving in? Well, this could be a bit of a problem, of course, these wolves in here. And one of the players needs to be scouting, especially Gach should be scouting this part of the map. He right now will be, so he will be aware of the threat lurking just about here. Yeah, he knows about the wolfies and needs to be careful with his villagers, already working with some stone wall, and he will be also slinging into his ally and hoping that Miguelzin will be better and faster than his opponent Mayan. It's going to be actually a pretty interesting clash of strategies, because looking how Tatoch is Mayan, he will be probably going for Eagle Warrior spam, and looking how he's going to be facing Slank Goth, who could be going for some very easy army of whatever, I don't know, some kind of two-handed swordsman in the castle in the Imperial Age. That could be making quite a lot of difference and quite some headache for Tatoch, but Tatoch is not going for something usual. He's actually going to castle drop into Reut. And he's definitely having this as some kind of personal 1v1 because they are so far in each of the games, they are the most important two players fighting each other. Yeah, so let's see if this is going to be strong enough. But looking how he's, well, I don't want to call it too soon. He's having 8 range. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Wow, that's damn close to his gold. It's actually very close to gold in here, and he needs to be careful about this. And I'm talking about Safaro, because if he's not, he might be actually denied any kind of gold whatsoever, and that would be pretty bad for him, quite obviously. Finishing with the wall in here probably as well, as Statok is also working on it. But the castle drop is quite interesting, and he seems to be basically ignoring the gold in the middle, which is definitely a huge surprise and something that might be a lot surprising to their opponents if they are going for pretty much the standard strategy. Yeah, it wouldn't be really all that surprising all that much because this is home map for ByTs, so we could have expected something very, very special from them. And well, yeah, Gach is right now trying to wall his ally because Goths obviously cannot build any kind of stone walls. Yeah, castle already dropped, 4 big girls in. And oh well, this is a very heavy rate on economy, and this fishing boat is going to survive at least for this moment, but the scout cavalry is definitely thinking and meaning business with those fishing boats. So yeah, this is a bit of a fight in here. There, yes. On the left, Purple is doing a pretty great job of containing his opponent, and since he's not prepared for this at all, trying to at least contain the situation, but if, yeah, you can already see 9 range, and he's going for Botkin arrow, so that's going to be yet another range. 8 plus 2, just about now, and this should be in range of actually this villager. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 12. This should be definitely in range of those two, and that's a big problem. Yeah, you can see right now. Okay, so that's a shot, and it actually shoots right about the second gold mine. And really, this is going to make life quite difficult for Ryut. And let's see if somehow Miguelzin can do something important in here. We also see petards, so definitely a pretty good strategy by Tatoch. And this is a race for time, because if Miguelzin cannot arrive fast enough, he's already arriving with some reinforcements. Unfortunately for him, with pretty decent wolf train. But if he can actually deal some substantial damage to those Bloom touches fast enough and at the same time die fast enough so that the Wolfies actually gain aggro on the purple player, he could be at least slowing him down. So this is very nice strategy by ByTs, and well, this is nice. I always love to see something special and new on each of the maps, and well, this is definitely something very, very new on Gold Rush, at least for me. I hope that for you as well, because I haven't seen this yet, and I've seen some Gold Rushes in here. So nicely played. Yeah, villagers getting killed. For Safaro, looking at the beliefs, we have 42, 31, 41 for ByTs, 32, 39, 44 for LoS. So LoS are slightly stronger in the economy, but not really all that much. It's kind of equalish. So not really anything substantial, but with yet another castle dropped in here, the situation is getting a bit problematic, and Safaro should be thinking about actually maybe having some kind of safe route. He could be interested in walling about here, so that he has a way of actually retreating with his villagers if he needs to into Gag's base, because if he is closed up altogether, yeah, you can right now see that finally Tatok is through. This will be a big problem, as obviously, yeah, he won't be having a place to run. Oh, very nicely played, not even finishing with the wall in Safaro in here. And yet another villagers will be killed by the castle. And yeah, this is not going to be finished. Ryut unfortunately forgetting that this is a trap. 3 will is dead in here, and much more dead in here, and he's already retreating. And yeah, he will be returning to rather retreating in here. He doesn't want to delete the market. Probably will delete the palisade wall and the stone wall. But he needs to be super careful, as obviously those punt archers are up for blood. Looking on the map overall, green is arriving with some extra Huskarls, but he's having pretty big problems with the nature in here. Like 5 wolves, come on, that's quite a lot, and actually quite a bit of problem for him, as he just growing all those wolfies in absolutely everywhere. Yeah, yet another wolfie in here. He's basically collecting absolutely all the wolves on this map that he is coming across. Yeah, bit of a problem. Some extra barracks in here, and since he won't be having any kind of help, rather attack from his opponent Monaimon, who is fully slinging into his ally Tatoch, well, we'll see if this is going to be making a whole lot of difference. So right now, unfortunately, Miguelzin is having to fight 2 opponents at once. both the purple Tatoch and Gaia in the wolfies in here, and we are seeing extra wolves attacking Safarao, and it's almost like some kind of conspiracy by the nature, as they are attacking basically just LoS, and yeah, this kind of sucky, but fortunately right now they are all dead in here, and he just needs to finish with those, unless he doesn't want to take care of them just about now. So quite a lot of plume touchers with villagers from Safarao dead. Safarao Riot is right now at 19 villies. So we can basically say that he's a half out of the game, because half, for the reason that other players are not really having all that much more, they are just about 50. So yeah, he's like at half. So he's not dead altogether, as it's not going to be making all that much of a difference. But he is in a pretty tough situation, and he's trying to progress, rather protect himself in his home base. But this castle is very bad, and it is a problem for this gold. And of course, you can see that Tatoch is stealing his own gold, and he is not interested in the big gold mines in the middle at all. But this game is Tatoch has finished with his own wall in, so he should be protected very nicely. Yeah, this is plucked, no problem in here. But in the middle, it seems to be developing slightly for Miguelzin, because of course he wasn't facing any opposition, besides all those wolves, of course. You can see more of them here. More of them here, and that basically means that he was free to do whatever he wanted, but also what is important to notice that ByT's Tatoch was slugged by two players, whereas Miguelzin just basically got Safado was having all that much more trouble with defending himself against the onslaught by Tatoch. So Tatoch is right now trying to capture those very big hills that are going to supply a big advantage with the hill. Extra bonus into attack. And he's trying to build yet another castle that's going to be a fourth. So he's pretty nicely set up, and he's actually going for the left side and potentially going through the walls in here with petards. Okay, so let's see if he's going to be successful, but he should maybe finish first with Ryut, as he's still having a pretty decent economy in the back in here, and much more importantly, he's having stone, which he could be sending to his allies. So yeah, it could be something that he needs to worry about. A lot of barracks cropping up for Miguelzin in the top side of the map, with iron casting coming in, meaning that he will be having pretty good upgrades on his units. Already elite Huskarls, and a very nicely positioned castle on the top of the hill, basically denying good position for all those plume archers, and if he can get some extra Huskarls exactly in them, well, they will be forced to retreat very soon. With the trebuchet, of course, being repaired by the bridges, and some kind of brother coming in soon. Let's switch into Miguelzin. So far not. He doesn't have the resources, you can see that he's pretty much spent, and he is right now much more interested in just pumping some kind of cheaper units into the battlefield, as he will be facing quite a lot of plumed archers very soon. And even though Huskarls are direct counter with a huge pierce armor, you can see 10 right now, once you have so many plumed archers that you can actually somehow divide them, especially with support from the castle, it's not going to be all that easy even for them, especially with proper micro, which I kind of think that Tatoch should be capable of. So yeah, very nicely played, at least to get rid of those trebuchets, as they are of course a big problem. But at the same time, it basically cost him all those units, as the plumed archers were having extra free shots into those units without any kind of opposition. And I would be liking some siege support in here to Miguelzin, as obviously some kind of, even Mangonels could be pretty strong in here and helping, because obviously those guys need some kind of support, as even though they are strong, this is a bit of a tough battle. But looking how they are slightly winning in here. Tatoch not even repairing, is he out of resources? Or was the castle actually fully repaired? I'm not sure at this point. But looking how Miguelzin is not really careful, he's sending absolutely everything in there, basically to die under the castle fire, and also all those plumed archers. He should be thinking a bit more about amassing the armies before going into the offensive. And I would be also kind of liking maybe not taking Tatoch head on. He could be doing some diversification, like maybe going into the slingers in here. But looking at the red pocket, he's already having triple wall, but since double is palisade, it's not going to be anything threatening. But maybe onto blue, he could be having much more effect and much more luck, as Moneymon is right now at 62 villagers, Setito 66 and 60 for Tatoch, and well, he definitely needs to do something. He either needs to convincingly win, which is not happening at all so far, or he needs to deny the slinging into Tatoch and somehow slow him down, because looking at the villies, we have 32 and Safaro, Gach 35, whereas Miguelzin 96. So even though Safaro and Gach are having pretty low numbers, It's kind of made up by the fact that Miguel's is having more, but at the same time it's 60-60-30 against triple 60, which means that LoS are having much weaker economy overall. Architecture for better hit points on the buildings already being researched. Is it going to be fast enough though? Probably will, with all those villagers repairing it, but yeah, so far those canals are not really working all that much as he would have hoped Miguel's in, but since he has finally built enough barracks in here, he definitely needs a bit more as he's pulling all the units from the very back, which is definitely costing him quite a lot of time. He definitely needs to think about a better strategy, but so far it's slowly working, but very slowly, and he needs to be careful because of course it's going to be taking just a bit of time before Tatok is in some pretty good moment. We're also seeing a bit of a purple sheeps here, and that's because, yeah, we have seen the petards. That was like 5 or 10 minutes ago as he was trying to push through the walls. Wolf is just waiting in here, and this is going to be a quite nice attempt, the buy purple, and I'm kind of thinking that he should be giving it a go with at least some kind of 5 plumed archers or whatever, as that could be a bit of a threat. And would be dividing attention of LoS, and yeah, that could be a bit of a problem for them. Right now though, the number of Goth whose Carlos is pretty big, and I'm kind of thinking this could be the critical mass, because if he right now goes full on into those archers, he will be in a pretty good spot, and he seems to be just dividing armies, basically trying to take down the castle, which will help him push a bit forward and then go for yet another castle. But barracks are being built, which means that Tatok will be switching into another unit. Scale mail armor, of course, so he will be switching into infantry. So let's switch into Tatok to spy on him. And he's going into Eagle Warriors. Okay, so he will be switching from Plumed Archers into Eagle Warriors pretty much fully. And this might be forcing Miguelzin to switch from Huskarls into normal champion line. So let's see if that's going to be strong enough or not. Well, Huskarls aren't bad themselves. They are having 16 attack. Pretty strong. That's pretty strong indeed. And for Figula, I'm actually from the Czech Republic, so maybe if you are too, we are definitely from the same country. Well, let's go back to the game in here. Not much interesting happening somewhere else, just in the middle, as basically this game has been reduced to the fight between Tatok and Miguelzin. So far Miguelzin seems to be winning at this stage, which is a bit of a surprise because Tatok before that was doing a pretty great job. But let's see if Tatok is switching from Plumed Archers into the Eagle Warriors fast enough, and if that's going to be enough to stop the onslaught of all those Huskarls coming in. Yeah, it seems like that the Goths are right now in their full strength, even for crop rotation, fortune and squires for Tatok, so he's definitely thinking about the switch very fully right now into infantry, but it really seems like that it could be a way too late, as there is nothing happening somewhere else, and you can already see. Oh, well. Yet another wolf fight for Miguelzin that he lost. Yeah, Wolf with his last breath, 1 hit point, he has killed the second villager, denying the siege workshop, and well, this is a pretty big problem for him, as even though he was attempting to do so, he was right on the doorstep of his opponent, but at the same time, yeah, the battle is decided on the left, and if we see the GGs, and yeah, even though Tatok's attack, or rather attack on Safarao was quite nice in the very early stage, unfortunately didn't do enough damage, he wasn't able to delete Safarao, and Safarao could still sling into Miguelzin, and Miguelzin made Tatok pay. So nicely played, two very different strategies, exactly as on the first map, but this time ByT weren't having the correct one, whereas LoS did. So nicely played, and Miguelzin is so far really a beast in those games. He's playing well indeed. Yeah, he was even in the middle already, trying to capture the big gold mines, and there was not any kind of opposition, just slowly Setito thinking that he could be slowly going there, but with, yeah, Miguelzin literally being everywhere, this was just a GG. Nicely played. It was looking quite grim for LoS for quite some time in the game, but, well, wasn't grim enough. Let's have a look at the post-game. With Miguelzin being the MVP, well, yeah, we have seen that, of course. That's nice, 169, 169. He has lost all the units that he has killed. Same numbers in here. Units killed 0 for Gach. Can take one single kill the whole game. His largest army 1-1 for the 4 players that was slinging the whole time. Yeah, pretty strong sling into Tatoch. Much stronger than into Miguelzin, and still didn't make a difference. That's really curious. It's really strange, to be honest. This is almost double sling into Tatoch, and it still wasn't enough. But it was, yeah, this was just decided by better strategy and the Goths being basically direct counter to Mayans. And, well, in the end, it did prove to be true. They played then. DG, DG.